Hello everyone. Today's topic is monthly journaling, monthly to-do lists, and habit trackers. I was just doing that. So firstly, I will explain what it is exactly. I would like to show an example, but I don't want to show my whole personal stuff. On one page, I write about that month's goals. And on the other page, I like to write habit tracker there. And I started doing this at the beginning of this year, and it helped me so insanely. I used to do monthly goals list for years now, and that is so helpful also. And I really love doing that. But adding a habit tracker next to it, game changer, I would say. So let me just show a little example. So this is my habit tracker. Right now I only got gym tracking, reading tracking, and podcast tracking, and I will add a few more down here. What I mean by podcast is just I like to listen to podcasts that are full of knowledge in a way. I found some podcasts that are 15 minutes a day, and they give really interesting facts and really interesting knowledge. So that's why I had that on here. Doing a habit tracker really helped me visually see oh, I was doing really good on this and I was missing out on this and I should do more of this, kind of that. And it really helped me because you always say, oh, I wish I was doing more of this, and it's just somewhere in your mind and you don't really track it. But once you do this, you can see oh, for months and months I've been wanting to read and I read 0 books. So it really helped me see what I'm really doing with my days. Sometimes I look at my for example, last month was just so unproductive. I was I didn't read, I didn't do language study. What was I doing for the whole month? So it motivated me to do more on the next month. And on the other page I have a monthly to-do list. How I do this one is, firstly, when the year started, I made a whole yearly to-do list. Each month I just go back and look at my yearly to-do list and add what I need to do this month, and I make the list there that is about 10 to 15 things to do. Throughout the whole month I always go through my journal and just always come back here and see what I did. Having a yearly to-do list really helped me with this, because right now I can go okay, we're halfway through the year, what do I have to do for my yearly goals? So I can go back and look at those, which is always just so helpful. I would recommend, if you do this list and then just close your journal and never look at it again for the rest of the month, it won't work. But if you open this at least once a week, but I would really recommend opening it up every single day. That's what I did. Or at least once every 2 to 3 days. Once you control it every day and just see what you need to do this month, you really actively keep up with your goals in your mind, and it kind of makes it easier to take action in real life. So for example, it's the 1st of August and I'm looking at here, I'm okay, what can I do today to improve on my monthly goals, which makes me more productive? And I could also really recommend just journaling about what kind of things you want for this month. For example, sometimes I write for this month, I really want to feel a bit more of this, or I really want to focus a bit more on this. I journal about these things and I'm how can I make that happen? And I add more things on my monthly list. I think this is a really easy way to always keep your focus on your goals and always keep your focus on your life and just whatever you need to get done. I've been doing this, I said, for years, but I've been doing this really strictly for this year. Oh, and by the way, I didn't talk about this, I think. Every month I start with this, and then when the month finishes, come back, I check what I did, and I check all the boxes here of my to-do list. And when I'm writing a new monthly goals, I look back at my last month's goals, and I'm okay, I didn't do these things, so I'll just copy it on the next month. So it really helps me keep an easy track of my life and see how it's been going. On this journal, I have every single thing on every single day that I did here in 2026, and I really like that I can track my whole 2026 here. I can just look back and see what I did on January and February and what was I focusing on. Hello, it's me again. I would like to mention something that I forgot to mention in this video. Having this whole track of your life really helps you see what was good for you and what was not. For example, when you have these months of analytics about yourself, you can go back and say, hey, these 2 months I was doing so bad. What was I really focusing on these months? For example, you can recall who you were hanging out with or what your focus was really on those months. And the more data you have, this will be so much more fun. For example, you can just go back and say hey, while I had this relationship in my life, I was doing so bad with these things. I wasn't really doing my goals, or I wasn't really focusing on myself. So you can be okay, I was really focused on school or work, so I really forgot to focus on myself. The more data you have on yourself, the easier it gets to see the patterns in your life. And this has been incredibly helpful for me to what is better, who is better for me in general. This really applies to relationships, to friendships, to families. So you can really have this like big data of yourself, which is just incredibly helpful in my opinion. In my life, I have never been as productive as I've been this year. So I think this is just doing something good for me. I would really recommend just like, especially since it's like the start of August, I would really like recommend starting a monthly goal for this month and see how it progresses and just like keep a good track on it. And like you can also track anything else you want here. You can track like your sleeping schedule, your like wake up hours and just stuff like that if you'd like to add those. So that's my little yapping session about my monthly goals and stuff. I'm going to go back to this now and finish my August goals. So yeah, thanks for coming by to my little podcast episode. See you on the next one.